Hey guys, TSW here with my first Myths of Pandaria video. Now I'm going to go through the talent changes for the warrior in Myths of Pandaria when the expansion is released. So yeah, should be pretty cool. So everything's getting, finalized and announced at Blizzcon this weekend. So I'm just going to cover some of the changes that have been announced and start off with the talents. So instead of getting a talent every other level, or like in TBC when you had like 71 talent points because you got one every level, including level 10 and there on after, you get them every 15 levels. So at 15 level increments, you unlock one talent point, and you've got a choice of 3 abilities to spend it on. We have Juggernaut at level 15, as well as Double Time and Warbringer. Now Juggernaut reduces the cooldown of your charge by 8 seconds. We have Double Time, a new ability, which will mean that you can charge twice before starting the 20-second cooldown of the charge. So that's pretty cool, but I can imagine it being a little bit frustrating, say in PvP, where you start the arena or whatever, you charge in, do some damage, maybe 30 seconds later you need to charge, so you charge again, and then you got a 20-second wait. What's that? That's a bit lame, but situational. You're definitely going to want to count how many charges you've used, because you don't want to be caught off guard and be like, okay, I'm going to charge. Can I charge again? No, I can't. I've got to wait a whole 20 seconds, which can be kind of, I can imagine, very frustrating. We also have Warbringer, which means that when you charge, you get a 5-second root effect on your target, which will most likely be taken up by the PvPers. For me as a tank, I'll most likely go for Juggernaut, I think. However, Double Time, I think it's obviously, for me as a tank, a throw up between Juggernaut and Double Time. I think, assuming that I can get my head around the whole mechanic of being able to charge twice, I'll go for Double Time. But I think for the consistency that Juggernaut gives, I'll favour Juggernaut, and that seems a lot nicer of a talent to me. But Double Time seems, whoa, a bit weird, and still potentially the best. I'm not really sure about those two. It's something that I definitely want to test out. But we'll bring it again for your PvPers. Double Time probably for your PvEers in terms of damage, just because it gives you like burst charges, essentially 2 quick charges with a long cooldown versus an averagely cooldown charge. At level 30, we have our healing abilities. We have Enraged Regeneration, Second Wind, and Impending Victory. Enraged Regeneration, as it is at the moment, you generate 30% of your total HP over 10 seconds and can only be used whilst enraged. We have Second Wind, which does exactly what Second Wind does at the moment. Whenever you are struck by a stun or immobilizing effect, you generate 20 rage and 5% of your total HP over 10 seconds. But on top of that, you also get the Blood Craze effect, so they're both squeezed into one ability. Whenever you take direct damage, you have a 10% chance to regenerate 3% of your total HP over 5 seconds. So most likely again, PvP talents. And then we have Impending Victory, which is a really cool ability. I really like this. You can Victory Rush at any time, but with a 30-second cooldown and a 20 rage cost. Now this is, I think, a really, really nifty ability. Really good for leveling. Every 30 seconds you can heal yourself for 10%. That's awesome. And on top of, being out of combat with your HP regeneration anyway, you'll be able to not have to focus too much on bandaging or eating. For tanking, Enraged Regeneration, yes please. For PvP, Second Wind, but again, for certain situations, say that there's a raid AoE, such as Bethtalak, Impending Victory, I can see being very desirable to take for tanking. But generally speaking, for the huge amount of healing that you will receive from Enraged Regeneration, like when the boss enrages or there's extra damage going out, whatever, you want to be popping your Enraged Regeneration for a big heal versus Impending Victory for a small heal, but very low cooldown, very accessible, and then Second Wind for your PvPing, because like when do you get stunned in PvE? But then again, you obviously have the passive healing with the Blood Craze effect being the second part of Second Wind. So yeah, let's go on to the next level increment, being level 45. We have Throwdown, Piercing, Howl, and Cripple. Throwdown, being, as we all know and love, 5-second stun, well, Throwdown, whatever you want to call it, with a 45-second cooldown. Piercing Howl, being a lot more accessible, being positioned like this. Dazes all targets, we know how it is. 50-second movement reduced for 6 seconds. Cool. And then we've got Cripple, a new ability, which I think is a really cool ability. Don't get me wrong, I really like it. It means that you don't have to waste your time or waste globals on hamstrings, but I think that it definitely needs to be changed, because what the tooltip reads is your auto attack hit and Ren ticks main your target, reducing movement speed by 50% for 12 seconds. Now, I could imagine your application of Rend or your auto swings. I still think auto swings is a bit overpowered. Like, it should be a proc to do this, because auto attack swings, you always auto attack the target. Whatever target you're attacking is always going to be slowed like all the time, which is just like, say you're low on HP, say you're 20% HP, you've got shield wall up, you've got a shield wall on, shield wall up, you've got a shield wall up, you've got a shield on, you've got a shield wall up, whatever, you're spell reflecting, you're kiting the PvPers, one swing, Sloan, for 15 seconds, a warrior charges you, Sloan, 15 seconds. Well, assuming that the warrior that charges you doesn't have cripple as well. But I can imagine it being like so overpowered, having 100% chance on your auto swings, and not to mention your rend ticks. I'm not quite sure what the cooldown, the uptime on rend is for one application. Say it's like 12 seconds or something. You apply rend on someone. Each tick of rend will slow them and renew the 15-second duration of the 50% slow. So for 12 seconds throughout the rend, they are slown. Plus, on the last tick of the rend, they will refresh the slow for 15 seconds. So that's a 27-second slown, which is crazy. So they've definitely got to change that. I think if they make it like a 10% chance of auto attacks, or just get rid of the auto attack and do a 10% chance of rend. I still don't really like the RNG of it, and I think that cripple definitely needs to be changed, but I do, I like the ability, but I think it's going to be hard not to make it overpowered, because I don't know, I really don't know about that ability. It's cool, but it's really hard to envisage in-game, let's put it that way. And then we have level 60, we have the Gag Order, Rude Interruption, and Disrupting Shout. Gag Order being as it is now, your pump throw have a 100% chance of silence target for 3 seconds. Cool. Rude Interruption, successfully interrupting a spell with a pummel increases your damage by 5% for 30 seconds, so it's not a huge amount, but it's definitely something that the PvEers are going to be taking up. Whenever I say PvE, I mean DPS. Whenever I say tanking and PvP, obviously, like arms and stuff. Disrupting Shout interrupts all spell casting within 10 yards and prevents any spell of that school being cast for 4 seconds. So that's very cool. Depending, I can imagine it being used in 5s, Gag Order being used in 3s, Rude Interruption being used by, PvE damage doers. I'd really like to play around with Disrupting Shout. I think it's a really cool ability, but as a warrior, you've got Shockwave. That's got a very short cooldown. It's an AoE stun 4 seconds. I don't feel that prot warriors really need Gag Order. I can charge, pummel, heroic leap back. I don't really feel that the need for Gag Order as a prot warrior, although it's a nice ability to have, and lots of people use it. Rude Interruption, obviously, like I say, just extra damage. But Disrupting Shout, I think, is kind of cool. I feel that this is a very weak tree in general, but obviously the 5% extra damage for your PvE DPS is obviously pretty cool, and most likely will be taken, I think, just by the PvE DPS. I think Gag Order will be taken by the PvPers, and Disrupting Shout will... I don't know. I don't find it that good, really. But it's, I suppose, the only one that I could take as a prot warrior. I don't know, maybe that'll Gag Order. I don't know. It's really cool how they have made the talents like this, I think. Say we're at level 75, there's some really good talents, and it really means, it's not going to change, your damage that much by taking which ability. It's not going to mean that you're going to change your rotation. It doesn't mean that you're going to, it's not necessarily right and wrong talents. It's more like personal preference and playstyle. You're still going to be, generally speaking, as successful. It just depends a lot more on your playstyle versus what class you play or whatever. So at level 75 we unlock Deadly Calm, Death Wish and Bull Rush being the new ability. Deadly Calm changing up a little bit, instead of being every ability reduces no rage, it is just your Heroic Strike and your Cleave. It's only the first 3 of them and lasts 15 seconds. But generally speaking, when you do use Deadly Calm, you continue your normal rotation, maybe execute hitting slightly harder with your huge rage pool, but at the same time, all you regularly would do with Deadly Calm is spam Heroic Strike, isn't it? So they're just making it that much more like normal, if you will. Next we have Death Wish, which you attack with Reckless Abandon for the next 10 seconds, which enrages you, so you get the enrage effect, good for Fury. Also additional rage from receiving damage, which I think is really nice. On top of that, you also take 5% additional damage. So I do like abilities with like the trade-off. Say you get this huge damage buff, yeah, but you take a little bit more damage. I think that it makes the ability a lot more dynamic. It's not just push button and win. It's push button, get more damage, but at the same time, watch your back. Also getting the extra rage from taking damage I really like. So it means that yes, you take more damage with the extra 5% damage received, but at the same time, taking damage as long as you're getting healed is quite nice. You get an extra rage. It's good. It's good. On top of that, you get the enrage effect, which I think is pretty cool. It's got its pros and cons. Pretty cool ability. Also Bull Rush. Actually, let's go back to Death Wish. I think I wouldn't mind seeing the cooldown actually less than 3 minutes. I think it's quite steep at being a 3-minute cooldown. Maybe if it didn't have the extra 5% additional damage taken, then it could, the cooldown could be higher. But I think it's a good ability, but with the extra 5% damage taken, it makes it not quite as good. So I think that the cooldown should be lessened. But anyway, next we have Bull Rush. You'll charge and intervene and enrage you for 6 seconds. I'm guessing that's the tanking talent in there. But at the same time, I don't really find that, being enraged is that important as a warrior tank. Damage as a warrior tank doesn't really matter. Threat as any tank these days doesn't really matter. You've got rage, so you've got threat instantly, pretty much. So this had me thinking, like, Deadly Calm for, extra burst aggro at the beginning of encounters and when, new waves spawn or something. Being pretty handy, but at the same time I don't really find as a prot tank any of these to be really that important. But anyway, I'll most likely go for, I don't know, like, none of them are that necessary, I'll say. They're just like additional extras, which are pretty nice, and again, that's kind of what Blizzard are going for, and I definitely feel it hitting level 75 in this talent tree. And then we get to level 90. Blaze Storm, yeah, we know about Blaze Storm. Shockwave, we know about Shockwave. Avatar. You transform into an unstoppable colossus for 10 seconds. Cool, I like that ability already. I'm going to pick it up. Oh, wait, there's more. Increasing your damage dealt by 20%. Cool, damage buff, but, we want to look cool. That's like the main prio of this talent. And causes your attacks to generate extra rage. Oh! That's pretty cool. Nice talent. Definitely getting better. Oh shit, there's even more. Whilst transformed, you're immune to... that failed. Whilst transformed, you are immune to movement impairing effects, which just makes it like Blade Storm V2. Like, Blade Storm's cool, don't get me wrong, and, blah, 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 but it lasts 6 seconds, which, is perfectly fine, and is AoE, good for fights like Maloriak. Yeah, Maloriak. But things like Avatar, I think, will be a lot, used a lot more. I don't know why you'd pick up Blade Storm instead of Avatar. Avatar, first of all, hopefully they make a unique skin, make it look really nice, really cool. I want to grow in size, have my weapon, scale up with me, and just swing shit with my blade and rip shit up. Essentially, that's what Avatar is in a nutshell. And you're basically awesome. What I'd really like to see is actually more like a tanking form. Actually, I'm just brainstorming here. You get maybe if it wasn't 20% extra damage dealt, it was 10% damage dealt and 10% damage received, lessened. So it's 10% each way. That'd be cool, because then it could be like a tanking ability as well. That'd be really nice to see. But anyway, what I'm really looking forward to is hopefully the Colossus transformation thing. Hopefully you look badass. But at the same time, the actual ability is really, really good as well. And obviously we have Shockwave, as we all know. Frontal Cone, stun, 4 seconds, cool. Blade Storm, 150 weapon damage for 6 seconds every second, cool. And, you know, you can only use shouts in Blade Storm, and you can't be slowed down or moved. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. Just going to go back to the beginning. At level 15, we have the charges. I'm going to guess that, because like you can't use charge in Berserk stance, and there aren't any talents really talking much about this, so I'm guessing that you can charge in Berserk stance. Just, I'm putting it out there, because like what would be the point of any of these talents if you can't use them in stance? So level 15 is by far the charge movement threshold. 15 whatever, yeah. So level 30 definitely being the healing aspect of the talent tree, with your enraged regeneration, second wind, impending victory. Level 45 being your slowed, your CC, throwdown, piercing, howl, cripple. I still think cripple's weird, really overpowered though, don't get me wrong, I like it. Gag order, rude interruption, disrupting shout at level 60 being your silences. Disrupting shout, I think feeling just a little bit like underpowered. I mean, like if you're damage in a PvE environment, you're going to go for rude interruption. If you're PvPing, you're going to go for gag order. And if you're a tank, at level 90 you've got shockwave. You don't need disrupting shout, I don't understand it. Anyway, level 75 you've got your damage buffs, which are cool. I hope they, maybe if they buffed Enrage a little bit more, I don't know, Bulrush would be cool. But I don't know, it's not a bad thing, but as a warrior tank I feel it a little bit weak. And then at level 90 you have your holy shit's gonna die abilities. So yeah, that's been my talent feedback from Myths of Pandaria announcement at Blizzcon. If you enjoyed this video, please thumbs it up and subscribe if you're not already. And for those of you wanting to comment down below, if you could answer me this question: what would you want the avatar to look like? The avatar form with the Colossus form. The Colossus transformation from the ability avatar. What would you want it to look like? I'd want to grow in size like a beast, and just look badass. Look badass, weapon be huge, maybe a big red enrage effect thing. Cool. I remember like trinkets we've had back in the days where it transforms you into cool looking shit. I want that plus more. I want to look fucking cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.